It's been a little while since I talked about my favorite actor, Brendan Fraser, and I figured now was the best time to do it since it seems the internet and really just society as a whole is ready to open their hearts and their assholes to real talent again, with actors such as Keanu Reeves finally getting the recognition he deserves. And I think it's time we enter Brendan Fraser into that conversation. About once a year, I get this aggressive itch that I need to scratch like a meth addict waiting for their fix, and I get hit with the old Fraser laser and I go on a Brendan Fraser movie binge. And I want to share with you his best, most iconic roles and why I truly believe he's one of the most versatile actors we've ever had in the business. Also, this is a really good time to talk about him because his career is popping off yet again. He stayed quiet for a little while and laid low, but now it seems like he's more open to doing bigger and crazier great roles, such as his role in Doom Patrol, which is fantastic. He's also got an upcoming fantastic role in a movie called Line of Descent, which comes out this month on the 13th. So he is starting to again accept these big budget roles, and he still has the talent that he has always had, and he is still a fucking joy to watch on screen. So I thought it'd be fun to go through this compendium of Brendan Fraser's many faces, the many faces of Fraser. Let's start from the beginning. 1992's Encino Man, where he plays Link, a caveman who was frozen but accidentally awakened by two high school students in the far-off future of 1992, an age where you still had to jerk off to notebook drawings, magazines, and crusty VHS tapes that were locked to 240p if you were lucky. And in this new age, this technologically advanced utopia, Link has to learn to blend in and reassimilate into society in a strange new world. He stars alongside Sean Astin and Pauly Shore. I don't know how many of you remember Pauly Shore from the 90s, but he was huge. He had his own 3 TV shows all named after him. This guy was a big fucking deal, and I used to love him growing up, so I went back and watched this, and I can tell you right now, his style of humor has not aged very well. It's like fucking Rage comics of the 90s. Pauly Shore's comedy is like the Big Chungus of the pre-internet age of movies. Let me give you an example. One of the most iconic scenes from Encino Man, the one I remembered most from being a kid, is they go to a gas station and they put their head under the juice machine and turn it on. That was a big trend in the late 90s. I remember I tried it once. I don't know how many of you were as venturous and as brave as I was, but doing that is miserable. It's like getting fucking waterboarded by sugar. But anyway, they do that in the film, and they call it wheezing the juice. But Pauly Shore's comedic shtick is that he's a carefree, free spirit, here's my dick, here's some cum, and he calls it wheezing the juice. So that's the whole joke behind it. So they go to the gas station to wheeze the juice, and then they get caught. And the guy says, no wheezing the juice. And Pauly Shore goes, but we're just wheezing the juice, man. And that was really just the whole kind of comedic back and forth scene. And I remember loving it as a kid, but going back, I had to say, fucking genius, better than I remembered. Brendan Fraser showed with this movie that he could do comedy. And also, he plays a very attractive student that most of the girls immediately fall in love with. So it also showed that he could be a heartthrob character. He could do both. And Brendan Fraser really locked in on the role of comedy, at least for a little while. He always did it well. Moving on up into the decade, in 1994, he played the role of Chaz in the movie Airheads, alongside Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, and Chris Farley. Airheads was a movie about this band that went to a radio station to get their songs played. It didn't happen. They held it hostage to force them to play their music, and it turns into this huge hostage situation in a massive concert. Great movie. Holds up well today. And Brendan Fraser once again shows that he can even do a little bit of depth behind a character, because there are some pretty powerful moments in the movie, at least in my opinion. Some cute things, but overall mainly just another comedic movie. And Brendan Fraser yet again kills it. He has this long, luscious hair. He looks like an absolute fucking stud, just an absolute Chad Thundercock, the kind of guy that would fuck your girlfriend and you would still want to be friends with him and do beer enemas with. Just an all-around cool character that Brendan Fraser absolutely nails. He is the main character in this movie, and he does a fantastic job in his role. In 1997, Brendan Fraser landed arguably his biggest role as George from George of the Jungle. George of the Jungle, watch out for that tree. Bang, he hits a tree. What I'm saying here is, Brendan Fraser brought fun to movies. Before Brendan Fraser came along, fun was a concept movies had never even considered until Brendan brought it with him. It was a package deal. When you had Brendan, you had fun. He would put asses in seats. He would put fucking sodden panties in seats because in George of the Jungle, his physique was that of an Adonis. He had the body of a god. It looked like he was chiseled out of marble. Brendan Fraser was a fucking ticket seller for anything that had his name on it, and rightfully so. Now let's move along to my favorite year, 1999 AF. AF stands for After Fraser, which is after the birth of Brendan Fraser, so 1999 after Fraser. In 1999, Brendan Fraser shows that he can do more than just comedic roles. He can do romance and drama as well with the movie Blast from the Past, where he plays Adam and stars alongside Alicia Silverstone. A movie about a pregnant woman and her husband who live in fear of a nuclear attack. So when they feel as though they are about to be bombed, they escape into their bomb shelter and a plane crash explodes over their house, trapping them inside the bomb shelter for 30 years, where Adam grows up completely isolated from human contact outside of his parents. But after 30 years, they decide to send Adam up to the surface to check out the new world post-apocalypse, only to be surprised that it's not a post-apocalypse and there was no nuclear attack. It is a fantastic fucking movie. This is the kind of movie that rom-coms are missing these days. Every rom-com is such this fucking same generic formulaic garbage just rehashed over and over again. Tired old pubic hair pulling, no fun rom-coms. Blast from the Past is a very unique and very fun movie to watch, and I recommend it highly. And also in 1999, he lands my favorite role of my favorite movie series, The Mummy. Can't say movie series, actually, because I remember the Tom Cruise one. So my favorite two movies, The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, where Brendan Fraser plays Rick O'Connell. 1999 was a great year. Rick O'Connell is one of my favorite characters in all of fiction because The Mummy is my favorite movie of all time. The Mummy is a movie that I can never recommend enough. So yes, some of the effects have not held up well. Yes, The Rock in the second movie looks like ass right out of a Nintendo 64 cutscene, but it doesn't matter. There's still so much charm and so much to love about The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, and they still hold up super well today, in my opinion. I adore those movies, and I absolutely still love them to this day, and I think Rick O'Connell is still a great character. And Brendan Fraser put his body through fucking torture for The Mummy, by the way. He nearly died on the set of the first Mummy. There's a scene in the first Mummy movie where Rick O'Connell is to be hung, and they drop him in the noose, and he's hanging by his neck. Well, in the scene, there's a close-up of Brendan Fraser in the noose, and Brendan Fraser really did that, and in one of the takes, he leaned into it very hard to sell the performance and blacked out and fell all the way to the ground. And the way he fell to the ground is actually the only thing that saved him, at least according to a few sources, because the way he hit the ground actually restarted his heart. What happened is he leaned into it too hard, blacked himself out, fell, and brought himself back to life, but was pretty much dead for about 18 seconds, allegedly. But aside from just that monstrous injury, he suffered numerous other injuries throughout the filming, and over the course of a few years needed a ton of back surgery, knee replacement, had a lot of debilitating injuries, vocal cord stuff. So he really gave life and limb to produce some of the best movies, and I think the results do show. The movies stand the test of time, and I do think that they're fantastic movies. The Mummy 1, The Mummy 2. In between these movies, he also had a couple of other great ones. In Bedazzled, he plays another great comedic role. Bedazzled is about a man who sells his soul to the devil for wishes, but the devil gives them really shit, spins on his wishes, and it's another great comedic movie. But the point I'm making with all of this and celebrating Brendan Fraser's roles is Brendan Fraser gave everything to produce movies that we hadn't seen before and an actor that was so versatile you could use him for anything. And I think that is something to celebrate. And Brendan Fraser still has that spark. In his newest roles, Doom Patrol, he's fucking great. In the role he plays in the newest one, Charu, in Line of Descent, fucking great. He plays another great character. He's also in Condor, where he plays another great character. He is still that same incredible actor today. And I think it's just a matter of him getting in those roles that Keanu Reeves fell into with John Wick. I think Brendan Fraser just needs more of those breakout roles where people really see just how much he can offer. Because I really do 100% believe he's one of the best actors to ever grace the big screen. I grew up loving him, I still love him, and his movies are still good. That includes Monkey Bones, by the way. Monkey Bones gets a lot of shit, but I like Monkey Bones. Looney Tunes Back in Action too. I also like that one a little bit, not as much as Monkey Bones, but I think those are both pretty decent movies. Brendan Fraser, great actor, doesn't get the credit he deserves, and I think that's fucking criminal. I'm on your team, Brendan, and I hope a lot of other people are too, because this man has got a rare type of talent. He just is able to make anyone smile on screen and really sell some great characters on the big screen. So yeah, just wanted to celebrate Brendan Fraser, and hopefully his career will keep going up as it seems to be doing at the moment because he deserves it and he's fucking great. That's about it. See ya.